Approximately 4 million people in America identify themselves as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, which is LGBT. But they are the only group of people in America that still are discriminated against in marriage. The ban on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender marriages should be lifted based on the fact that anti-gay marriage laws are based on old ideas that no longer apply to Americans. You personally may not be anything but heterosexual, but I'm sure that you know somebody that is homosexual. In my speech, I'll be discussing the old ideas of why gay marriage should be banned, such as religion views, corruption of traditional family values, and gender role confusion, and why these arguments are weak and not applicable. Most religions view any sexual orientation outside of heterosexuality as a sin, and therefore should not be allowed by the government. But there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, and which is written in the First Amendment, which states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting a free exercise thereof. If Congress cannot establish a religion, they cannot base laws off of religion, including that being gay is a crime and should not be allowed by the government. According to a chart on religionfacts.com, some religions are tolerant, if not pro-homosexual relationships. So if Congress is accepting of all religions, they should be accepting of gay marriage. The second argument is that if gay marriage is allowed, most people will believe it will cause the corruption of traditional family structures, and which would be detrimental to children of homosexual partners. In a review of 21 studies spanning nearly 20 years, they convincingly argue that sexual orientation does not affect important dimensions of parenting and well-being, such as parental fitness, child psychological health, and the strength of parent-child relationships, which came from a study from Camp about how the relationships were different from a heterosexual and homosexual relationship. So therefore, there is no obvious cause of there being any sort of bad influence on children with homosexual parents. According to an article on Time Magazine's website, children in lesbian homes scored higher than kids in straight families on some psychological measures of self-esteem and confidence, and did better academically and were less likely to have behavioral problems such as rule-breaking and aggression, which again supports how traditional family structures are no better or worse than a non-traditional structure. And their final argument is that gay marriage will lead to more problems with gender role confusion. According to the American Psychological Association, the answer from research is clear. Sexual and gender identities, including gender identity, gender role behavior, and sexual orientation, develop much in the same way among children of lesbian mothers as they do among children of heterosexual parents. So there is no proof that living with a homosexual couple as opposed to the heterosexual will cause you to be gay or be straight. It doesn't matter. And finally, unless you're living in the 1980s, gender roles really aren't as important in our society anymore. I mean, look at there's women out working now instead of staying at home taking care of the families. So, and often the roles are reversed. Women are out working and the men are staying home cooking and cleaning. So there's really no use for gender role confusion. So in conclusion, gay marriage should be legalized because there's no reason not to. If there is no separation of church and state, and studies have shown that homosexual couples make just as good parents as heterosexual couples, and gender roles are not set in stone like they used to, then there is nothing else to argue about. If America is the land of equality for all mankind, shouldn't there be equality included for homosexual people too? I urge you to show more tolerance for the LGBT community. Maybe if we all show tolerance to them, then the government will see that they are just like any other couple and will allow gay marriage. If you can, write to your government and demand that they stand up for gay marriage and stop living in the past of discrimination. At least 4 million Americans identify themselves as lesbian, gay, or bisexual or transgender. Isn't it time that they get the same rights as we do?